After Black Panther passed away, a lot of fans asked the same question. Why did Marvel choose Shuri to become the next Black Panther? The truth is, when T'Challa was still alive, Shuri was never a warrior. She was the genius behind Wakanda's technology. In the first Black Panther movie, she tried to stop Killmonger using her Panther gauntlets. Her energy blasts and sonic attacks pushed him back for a moment, but Killmonger wasn't impressed. He crushed both gauntlets with his bare hands and knocked her to the ground with a single strike. Shuri had no chance against him. Just as Killmonger raised his spear to finish her off, T'Challa charged in, slammed him away, and saved her life. That fight made one thing clear. Shuri was brilliant, but she wasn't strong enough to be Black Panther. Then, everything changed. No one expected T'Challa to die so suddenly. Before Wakanda could recover from his funeral, a new enemy appeared. Namor, the king of Talokan, launched an attack on Wakanda. During the invasion, Queen Ramonda sacrificed herself to save Riri Williams. She drowned after being trapped by the massive wave that crashed into the palace. By the time Shuri reached her mother, it was already too late. After killing the queen, Namor gave Wakanda one final warning: surrender within 3 days, or Talokan would wipe Wakanda off the map. In just 1 month, Shuri lost both her brother and her mother. The grief and anger completely changed her. She stopped thinking like a scientist. Now, she only wanted one thing: to make Namor pay. Shuri knew revenge alone wouldn't defeat Namor. Even with Wakanda's advanced technology, she wasn't powerful enough to face him. There was only one option left. She had to recreate the heart-shaped herb and gain the power of the Black Panther. She ran experiment after experiment, but every attempt failed. Just when she was running out of hope, she looked at one of T'Challa's old bracelets. An idea suddenly came to her. She extracted the tiny traces of his DNA left on the bracelet and used it to recreate the heart-shaped herb with a 3D printer. Against all odds, it worked. Shuri drank the herb and waited to enter the ancestral plane. But instead of seeing her family, she came face to face with Killmonger. He told her the anger inside her made her more like him than T'Challa. Shuri woke up in shock. At first, she thought the experiment had failed. Then she felt it. Her strength, her speed, her senses, everything had changed. To prove it, she threw a single punch at a vibranium training suit and sent it flying across the room. Everyone watching was stunned. The recreated heart-shaped herb had actually worked. Shuri had inherited the power of the Black Panther. Without wasting any time, she traveled to M'Baku's mountain tribe. She convinced him that Wakanda had no choice but to fight back. Soon, M'Baku gathered the Jabari warriors, while Wakanda prepared its army for war. Shuri had only one goal: find Namor, and end this once and for all. The final battle began in the middle of the ocean. Shuri and the Wakandan army entered the Atlantic to hunt down Namor and the Talokan warriors. But the moment Namor and his people surfaced, Wakandan fighter jets launched an attack. Namor reacted instantly. He flew into the sky, sliced through a fighter jet with his spear, grabbed its tail, and slammed the aircraft straight into the Wakandan ship. The attack created the perfect opening. Talokan warriors climbed onto the ship and launched a full-scale assault. Wakandan soldiers fought back, jumping into battle with ropes around their bodies as the two armies collided. At the same time, Shuri entered the fight wearing her new Black Panther suit. She attacked the Talokan warriors with powerful sonic blasts. But Namor was still the biggest threat. Shuri knew she couldn't beat him while he was at full strength, so she created a trap. As Namor attacked, he was captured and pulled inside the Wakandan aircraft. The moment he entered, Shuri activated the ship's heating system. The temperature began rising, and the heat slowly evaporated the water inside Namor's body. For the first time, Namor started losing his strength. He finally realized he had been tricked. Desperate to escape, Namor grabbed his vibranium spear and tried to destroy the aircraft. But Shuri was ready. She ordered the ship to fly toward the desert, where Namor would be even weaker. Then she put on her armor and prepared for the final battle. When they reached the desert, Namor attacked immediately. Even after losing much of his strength, he was still incredibly powerful. One punch sent Shuri flying, but she used the moment to grab his spear and damage the aircraft, causing it to explode. The two crashed onto the desert floor. Shuri got back up, but Namor came down from the sky and struck her again. He grabbed her and continued beating her with overwhelming force. But Shuri found an opening. She ripped off Namor's small wings, throwing him off balance. Enraged, Namor charged at her again. Namor wasn't finished. He grabbed Shuri's wrist and slammed her away. Then he launched into the air and struck her again. Luckily, the vibranium armor absorbed most of the damage. Shuri waited for the right moment. When Namor got close, she grabbed him and released the stored kinetic energy from her suit. The powerful blast sent Namor flying. Seeing Namor weakened, Shuri prepared to end the fight. She wanted revenge. She wanted him to pay for her mother's death. But Namor still had one last move. He picked up his vibranium spear and drove it straight through Shuri's body, pinning her to the ground. Namor was exhausted. He knew he couldn't continue fighting, so he turned around and headed back toward the ocean. Shuri watched him leave. She knew that if Namor returned to the water, she would lose her only chance, so she forced herself to move. Ignoring the pain, she snapped the spear, pulled herself free, and chased after him. Just before Namor reached the ocean, Shuri stood in his way again. Namor couldn't believe it. Even after everything he had done to her, she was still standing. The final battle began. This time, Shuri had the advantage. She used the desert heat to weaken Namor and finally defeated him. She had the chance to kill him. She could have taken revenge for her mother, but at that moment, she remembered Queen Ramonda's words. She realized that becoming the Black Panther wasn't about revenge. It was about protecting her people. So instead of killing Namor, Shuri chose mercy. She spared his life and ended the war between Wakanda and Talokan. So why did Marvel choose Shuri to become the next Black Panther? The biggest reason was reality. Chadwick Boseman, the actor who played T'Challa, sadly passed away after battling cancer. Marvel decided not to recast T'Challa out of respect for Chadwick and the legacy he created. Shuri was the perfect choice to carry on the Black Panther name. In the comics, Shuri has also become Black Panther before, and within the story, she was the closest person to continue T'Challa's legacy. Her journey was also the main message of Black Panther: Wakanda forever. Shuri didn't start as a warrior. She was a brilliant scientist who relied on technology, but after losing the people she loved, she was forced to grow. She faced her anger, overcame her hatred, and learned what it truly meant to be the Black Panther. That is why Marvel chose Shuri, because the next Black Panther wasn't just someone with power, it was someone who could carry the responsibility.